So many people want to become a certified peer recovery specialist, but they get stuck, they get confused, overwhelmed, and then they quit. Not because they can't do the work, but because no one ever showed them the full map of the journey. Today, we're changing that. We're going to lay out the entire process, step by step, so you can see exactly where you are and what comes next. The first step, the very foundation of all peer work, is your lived experience. This is your personal journey with mental health or substance use challenges. It's what gives you the unique ability to connect with others, to truly understand and walk alongside them. But here's a crucial point. Lived experience alone isn't enough to get you certified. It qualifies your voice and your perspective. But it doesn't replace the formal requirements like training and supervision. Think of it as your entry ticket, not the final destination. Next up is your required training hours. This is a common place where people get tripped up. You start collecting certificates from various trainings, but not all of them will count towards your application. The MABPCB board is very specific. They look at the content of the training, whether the provider is approved, and if you've met the specific ethics requirements. Just because a training helps you grow personally doesn't mean it checks the box for certification. You need to be strategic and make sure your training hours are both approved and meaningful. The third step, and where most people get lost, is supervised work or volunteer hours. It's not just about putting in the time. It's about how you put in that time. Supervision is key. Who supervised you? Were they qualified? How were your hours documented? If your supervision wasn't done correctly or documented clearly, those hours might not count. No matter how hard you worked, this isn't to discourage you. These rules are in place to protect the integrity of the peer role, most importantly, the people we serve. After you've gathered your training and supervised hours, it's time for step 4, submitting your application. Here's a little secret. Most applications aren't outright denied, they're returned. Why? Usually for simple things like a missing signature, unclear dates, or information that doesn't quite line up. The board isn't looking for a perfect person. They're looking for a clear, consistent, and verifiable application. Your application should tell a cohesive story of your journey from lived experience to being ready for certification. Step 5 is the ethics agreement. This is more than just a one-time training you have to complete. It's a professional commitment you make for your entire career. Understanding boundaries, confidentiality, and your scope of practice is non-negotiable. It protects you. It protects the program you work for, and it protects the peers you support. A lot of application delays, and even struggles with the exam, can be traced back to a misunderstanding of these core ethical principles. Which brings us to step 6, the exam. The exam isn't designed to trick you or test your memory of random facts. It's scenario-based. It presents you with real-world situations and asks you to choose the best peer-focused response. It tests your skills in advocacy, ethics, mentoring, and supporting recovery. It's about demonstrating how a peer thinks and acts, not just what a peer knows. Finally, the last step is certification and renewal. Getting that certificate is a huge accomplishment, but it's not the finish line. It's the start of a commitment to lifelong learning and accountability. You'll need to complete continuing education, stay up to date on ethics, and always work within your role to keep your certification in good standing. Strong peers don't just get certified, they stay certified. So let's bring it all together. The reason so many people give up isn't a lack of passion or ability, it's a lack of clarity. It's trying to navigate a complex system without a map. Now you have the map, so where are you on it? Are you just starting out? Building your foundation of lived experience? Are you in the middle, collecting your hours and feeling a bit stuck? Or are you near the end, getting ready to submit your application? Once you can see the road ahead, you don't have to wander anymore. The goal is the same, but now you have the clarity to get there. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you on your journey. Applying for your peer support certification? Let's talk about training hours, because this is where a lot of applications get stuck. It's not about whether you did the training, but whether you did the right training. Let's break it down so your application sails through smoothly. Think of training in 3 categories: what counts, what doesn't, and what's often confused. First up, what actually counts. For your initial certification, you need 50 hours of documented peer-specific behavioral health training. Super important. These hours have to come from an MABPCB approved organizational provider. These 50 hours are spread across 5 specific domains. You need 10 hours in advocacy, 16 hours in ethical responsibility, 10 in mentoring and education, another 10 in recovery and wellness, and 4 hours in harm reduction. You can't just load up on one domain and ignore another. Notice that ethics has the most hours. That's on purpose. The board is serious about making sure peer practice is safe and ethical. Now let's clear up some confusion around in-service training. You can use up to 12 in-service hours toward your 50-hour total. But for it to count, it must be provided within your own agency, taught by an agency employee, and be relevant to one of those 5 domains. If your agency brings in an outside consultant, that's not considered in-service. It's just general training. So what doesn't count? Just because a workshop was helpful doesn't mean it counts for certification. Things like general motivational talks or wellness workshops that are not specific to peer support usually want to make the cut. The title of the training doesn't matter nearly as much as the content. If it doesn't align with peer recovery competencies, it won't be accepted. Next, let's tackle the area that causes the most headaches, the often confused category. Let's start with online versus in-person training. You are only allowed a total of 5 hours of online, non-interactive training. That means watching recorded videos or doing self-paced webinars just 5 hours. Interactive online training is a different story. But for the passive, non-interactive stuff, the limit is firm. Now let's talk about core training. Every single applicant must complete at least one core training, and it has to be 30 hours or more. You've probably heard of some of them, like the Recovery Coach Academy, Intentional Peer Support, RAP Facilitator Training, or the Mosaic Peer Curriculum. If it's a recognized core curriculum and it's at least 30 hours, you've met this requirement. The timeline also matters a lot. All training you use for your initial certification must have been completed within the last 10 years. That amazing training you did 11 years ago? Unfortunately, it won't count. And this next part is absolutely critical, so listen closely. For every single training, you must have a certificate of completion, no exceptions. That certificate needs to have your name, the training title, the provider's name, the number of CEUs awarded, and which domain or domains those CEUs apply to. Sign-in sheets are not enough. Emails don't count. Flyers don't count. I'll say it again. No certificate, no hours. So here's the bottom line. Getting your training hours approved isn't just about putting in the effort. It's about getting the right training from approved providers, making sure it aligns with the required domains, and having perfect documentation for every single hour. Getting this clarity now will save you months of delays later. Training is just one piece. Next, let's talk about supervision and experience hours. Let us talk about the part of the application process that frustrates people the most: getting it returned. First things first, a returned application does not mean you failed. It just means something didn't quite line up. And that's fixable. Returned applications almost always come down to a few common issues. The first one is simple missing signatures. This could be your signature, your supervisor's signature, or any required attestations that were left blank. Always double check. Next up, inconsistent dates. The dates on your training certificates, supervision logs, and service letters all have to match. If one document says March and another says April for the same training period, that's a red flag for the reviewer. Another big one is an ineligible supervisor. If your supervisor doesn't meet the board's requirements, all those hours you worked so hard for might not be accepted. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it happens. Then there's miscategorized training hours. This is probably one of the biggest reasons for delays. All your continuing education units, or CEUs, must be clearly listed for each required domain. If a domain is missing, or the hours are in the wrong category, your application will get slowed down. Let's also talk about education documentation. A lot of applicants run into trouble here. Your diploma or degree will not be accepted if it comes in an envelope that was already opened, or if it was emailed by someone other than your school. All official school documents must be sent in a sealed envelope or directly from the school's official email address. Never ever send them yourself. Even if the document is perfectly legit, the delivery method matters. Incomplete narratives are another common reason for returns. Short answers that don't clearly explain your role, your supervision, or your experience will just lead to more questions and delays. Remember, the board isn't looking for perfection. They're looking for clarity and consistency. Clear documentation and consistent information move applications forward. When in doubt, you can always verify providers and CEUs directly on the MABPCB website. You can confirm the provider's name, the training title, and the exact number of approved SOS. Don't guess, verify! And here's a pro tip for you. Always create a mock application on paper before you start entering anything online. Slow down first. Make sure your education log is filled out completely. You know where each training goes and which CS apply to which domain. If it doesn't make sense on paper, it won't make sense on the computer. That one simple step can save you weeks of delays. To help you out, I'm including a set of practice paperwork in the pinned comment below. You can use it to walk through the process before submitting the real deal. Here's a quick exercise. Think about the application. Which section are you least confident about? Is it the training? Supervision? Narratives? That's the section you need to slow down on. That's where clarity will make the biggest difference. Most delays are preventable. Let's be really clear about something. Ethics isn't just a class you take to check a box. It's how you practice every single day. When you become a certified pure recovery specialist, you are held to two crucial ethical frameworks: the IC and RC Pure Recovery Code of Ethics and the MABPCB Code of Conduct. These aren't just suggestions. They are enforceable standards that define your professional life. At its core, the IC and RC Code of Ethics outlines the fundamental values of our work. We're here to promote self-determination, personal responsibility, and empowerment. We support people in their own self-directed recovery. Think of it this way: you are there to walk alongside someone, not to lead them from above. You're there to support, not to control. Peers are advocates. Peers model recovery. We are expected to maintain the highest standards of both personal and professional conduct. And here's a critical point: peer recovery professionals do not practice independently. You must work within your training, within your scope, and always under appropriate supervision. Working outside of that isn't just a bad idea, it's an ethics violation. Supervision is not optional. It's an ethical requirement. You need to have regular supervision to address boundaries, personal bias, your own professional growth, and your wellness. If your supervision gets interrupted for any reason, you need to get help immediately. Providing services without supervision is a serious breach of conduct and can lead to disciplinary action, including losing your credential. Your professional conduct extends everywhere, even online. As a peer, you have to accurately represent your qualifications and credentials. Everything you do should align with SAM's guiding principles of recovery. This includes your public statements and your social media presence. What you post must not harm the peer profession, the community, or the people you serve. Your own recovery and wellness are also part of your ethical responsibility. If your behavior choices or health start to interfere with your ability to practice ethically, you are required to notify your supervisor. It's about protecting the people we serve and protecting yourself. Confidentiality is absolutely non-negotiable. This applies to everything: documentation, conversations, text messages, social media DMs, phone calls, and video chats. If you need to share information, you must have clear documented consent. Breaking confidentiality is one of the fastest ways to destroy trust and lose your credential. Another major area is conflict of interest and dual relationships. You must disclose any potential conflicts to your supervisor immediately. This includes personal, social, financial, or romantic relationships. You do not mix friendship, money romance, or sponsorship with your professional peer services. If a conflict arises, You consult your supervisor and, if necessary, remove yourself from the situation. When in doubt, you pause and consult. You never make these decisions alone. Now let's talk about the real-world consequences. With the MABPCB, their code of conduct has serious disciplinary authority. Violations can lead to the suspension, revocation, or even permanent loss of your certification. The board enforces rules on everything, from unlawful conduct and fraud to confidentiality breaches and practicing outside your scope. Your intentions don't protect you. Your documentation does. This is precisely why ethics issues are the #1 reason certification applications get delayed or flagged. Your understanding of ethics shows up in your supervision logs. It shows up in your application, and it absolutely shows up on the exam. If your grasp of ethics is shaky, it will be noticed. That's why it has the highest training requirement. The board is laser-focused on ensuring safe, consistent, and ethical peer practice. So here is a question to think about. What boundary do you find hardest to explain to people outside of peer work? If you struggle to articulate it clearly, that's a perfect topic for your next supervision session. Ethics isn't about being rigid. It's about being responsible, strong, effective. Peers don't just know the code of ethics. They live it, they practice it, they document it. And by doing so, they protect their credential and the integrity of our profession every single day. Thanks for watching. And remember to subscribe for more content to support you on your journey. All right, let's talk about the exam. But I want to be really clear about how we're framing this. This isn't your typical exam prep session. This is all about setting the right expectations. The exam itself is built around the same domains you've already been working with: advocacy, ethics, mentoring and education, recovery and wellness, and harm reduction. If those topics sound familiar, good. That's exactly the point. Now, where do people usually get tripped up? Most of the exam questions are scenario-based. They'll give you a situation and ask you to choose the best response. And this is the key. There is often a big difference between what you might do in real life and the best answer for the specific peer role. The exam isn't asking you to diagnose anyone or be clinical. It's asking you to think like a peer. So, what's the secret? The best answer is usually the one that keeps you firmly in your role as a peer, uses supervision correctly, respects boundaries, and champions self-determination. Let's reframe any anxiety you might be feeling. This exam isn't testing your clinical knowledge. It's testing how a peer thinks. If you truly understand your role, your ethics, and your boundaries, you're already preparing. You've got this. Okay, so what happens after you pass and get certified? This is important. Certification isn't the finish line. It's a commitment to maintenance. Once you're certified, there's a certification period, continuing education requirements, and ethics training you need to complete for every renewal cycle. And yes, documentation still matters. This is where good habits will either help you or hurt you. If you track your continuing education units as you earn them, keep your certificates organized, and are intentional about ethics training, renewing your certification will be a smooth, routine process. But if you wait until the last minute, that's when the stress piles up. The reality is, certification isn't something you earn once and then forget about. It's something you actively maintain throughout your career. Now, let's wrap this up in a powerful way. I want you to think about just one thing. Not the huge list of everything you still need to do. Just one thing. What is one single action you will take in the next 7 days to move your application forward? It could be one action, one step, or one decision. Take a moment right now and think about what that is. If you feel comfortable, drop it in the comments below. Saying it out loud, or in this case, writing it down, is how you turn clarity into movement. And movement is how applications get submitted and approved. This video is for educational and training purposes only. It is not an official MABPCB document, not exam prep, and does not guarantee certification approval. Viewers are responsible for verifying all requirements, approved providers, CEUs, and supervision details directly with the MABPCB Empower Path. Academy is an independent training organization.
All right, let's do
Okay,
this.
let's
Look at
go.
this big guy. I'm actually about to ride him, and we're moving.
I am on a lion!
This is unbelievable. He's smooth like a big golden sofa with muscles.
Never thought at 60
Take
I'd
us
be
to the
doing this.
horizon, buddy.